A pleasant good Monday morning to everybody in our listening audience. It's my pleasure to welcome to the program the director of Laramie Main Street, Trey Sherwood, is in studio with me this morning. Good morning. How are you?
Good morning.
A little bit under the weather you are, so I hope that you feel better sooner than later.
Thank you.
I've been down that road here recently, so I can understand. I think there's a lot of folks in the audience have been a little bit under the weather here and there. So, first of all, let's talk a little bit about. I know you got this survey, the strategy survey going on, and I don't want to get into detail there, but let's think back to this holiday season. How would you kind of characterize how Laramie Main Street went? What's kind of the conversation been amongst the retailers downtown?
Well, I've been out hitting the streets, making visits, asking people how things went, and it's kind of a mixed bag. We had some people who this was the best holiday season they've had in a long time, and others who saw their numbers a little flat, and others who were down. And so, you know, we're always analyzing what we're doing, from Small Business Saturday to promotions, and you know how we get the community to turn out and shop local. And so it's our turn to evaluate our measures and see what we can do to make next year even better.
I like how you put it. New Year's resolutions aren't just for individuals. You guys are trying to find a way to kind of revitalize downtown. And that's probably a never-ending process, yes. I would imagine. But so you're seeking feedback from the public. So what exactly are you looking at with this survey? If I'm somebody who you want feedback from, what are we looking at with this survey?
Yeah, so this survey is an opportunity for us to update our ongoing revitalization strategies. So in 2012, we adopted a development plan, and we've been steadily working on that, but now it's time to give that a little bit of a fresh feel. And so we don't do anything if it's not for the community. So we don't exist, you know, to give me a job or to, you know, create a board. We exist because the community wants to see something great happen downtown. And so for us to move forward with a strategy, we have to know what our constituents want from us.
Okay.
And so we're looking for as much feedback as possible from everything from the business owners, the building owners, the students, individual consumers, our friends at UW and institutions of higher education, to let us know what downtown should be like moving forward into the next 5, 6, 7 years. So
how long is this survey going to take part? Because it launches today, if I understand correctly.
Yes, it is open today. It'll be open through the 17th. Okay. It's really quick and short. You know, questions about where do you shop, or would you like to shop? What services do you enjoy, and what services do you miss that you know you're not finding downtown? And we will compile all of that data and review it with staff from National Main Street on January 22nd to help us update our very thoughtful, purposeful strategies to revitalizing downtown.
Okay, again, we're visiting with Laramie Main Street Director Trey Sherwood here, Laramie Live on KOWB, and glad to have you on the show. So this is. This is part of a 4-point approach. Talk about some of the pieces to that. Let's begin with economic vitality. What kind of shape do you feel downtown's in for Laramie right now?
So the economic vitality piece is like the health and welfare of our local businesses. So we're always looking at existing businesses. How are they doing? Are they growing? Are they adding jobs? Are they adding services? New businesses coming in. Are they ready to launch? Do they have a solid business plan? And so we're there to provide services, whether you've been at it a day or whether you're in your 3rd generation of a business, which is really exciting. And it's nice to look at the numbers that tell us that we have 95% capacity downtown in terms of spaces that are full and vibrant, and there's an operating business in that. And then we've got some underutilized space that we're working on, you know, strategizing to get a business into that location. So those numbers tell us that we're on a good trend, and we're updating our business services in the new year to just continue to grow local business.
With the 5% that's not occupied, how much of a concern is that to you folks and just the rest of the business community right now downtown?
Well, anytime you see an empty storefront, you wonder what's going on. You know, what's happening that space isn't being utilized. And honestly, the common denominator there is a lot of times those spaces that are empty are owned by property by somebody who's not in our community.
Oh, okay.
And so what I've been tracking over the last 9 years is rent. What is the average rent downtown? You know, does it include utilities? Does it include, you know, internet or not? And those spaces that are empty, the rent is usually 3 times higher than their neighbors are paying.
Oh, wow.
So it's not that there's not a desire to go into those spaces. It's that the cost to go in and start a business in those locations is prohibitive.
Is there a way to get away from that, not having spots located locally owned here in terms of those buildings?
Well, you know, in Wyoming, we like our freedom. There's no law that says that you can't buy a piece of property and charge $1 million for it.
Right.
And so it's about relationship building. It's about reaching out to those individuals to let them know that Main Street is here to help, that we want them to get rent money as well, and so just help educate them about the market and hope that they trust our guidance to make some changes to that lease agreement.
A couple other parts to that. Design. What are we talking about in that?
So anything visual, anything that you as the member of the public can come downtown and enjoy. So our historic buildings, our facades, the banners, the lights, the bike racks, and the murals, right? So anything that gives you a sense that downtown is a place that is aesthetically pleasing, that you want to spend some time and wander around. And so yeah, it's all about the visual appeal.
All right. What about the organization piece to that, and then part of that also being promotion, I guess?
Yeah. So our org team, I consider that our human resources arm. So they are looking internally to the organization. Do we have enough volunteers? Do we have enough funding to keep the doors open and to make sure our services are free? And so they're always thinking about what grants we need to go after, what is our Giving Tuesday strategy, and how do we recruit new people to come hang out with us and have a good time as we work on downtown.
All right. And then promotion piece, what are we looking at there?
That's pretty straightforward. That we have an event lineup throughout the year that draws traffic into the downtown, and it's about how we market and talk about downtown as a place to do business and hang out and make memories with your family. So that 4-point approach is meant to be very holistic, that we're not just looking at the health of the business, but we're also looking at the health of the physical infrastructure of downtown as well.
Again, visiting with Laramie Main Street Director Trey Sherwood this morning, Laramie Live on KOWB. Launching today is a seeking feedback from you folks in the public on strategies for downtown. So you mentioned the survey is not very long, won't take a lot of time. Where can we find it?
All right, so the easiest way to access it is on our website at laramie.youtube.org. But you can also go to our Facebook page at Downtown Laramie, and we just posted that this morning, so it's top of the page. And like I said, it'll maybe take you 1.5 minutes to do that, maybe 2 if you're very thoughtful about your answers. But we just really appreciate it. My personal goal is to get 2,000 members of our community to fill that out so that we have a good cross-section of feedback. Because what we don't want to do is say only get feedback from one section of our community and then not be serving all of Laramie.
Gotcha. So. How tough will it be though to get students, particularly when they're not here and basically they won't be here until after this closes? Is that kind of a tough one? Did you consider possibly extending the date? Or?
Well, so we are meeting on campus tomorrow with President Nichols to talk to her about getting the word out there. And so one of our key strategies has been to have a really strong town and gown connection, and so we have students as volunteers with us now, and we constantly are talking to ASUW, the College of Business, and so we're really have laid the groundwork to be on campus prior to this. But you're right, I was worried about that break and not having that voice at the table.
I wish I had this type of break when I was in school. That's been a few decades ago now, but I don't ever remember going as long as they're off for break. I mean, because they've been off since, oh goodness, what was it, the 18th, and after the kind of split finals, and then they don't come back, I think, till the 22nd, I want to say.
Yeah, and we miss them. I mean, we can tell the traffic downtown is different. There are businesses that absolutely rely on that student audience that is slow. And
you can tell businesses kind of tweak their hours a little bit because it's slower than normal, too, which is a little bit different. Okay. Now, tough question, because I always get these from folks in our listening audience. And by the way, I will post this interview and we'll provide the link to the survey on our websites as well. I don't have a computer. Is there a way I can somehow participate in this?
Oh man, that's a good question. So if anybody wants to stop by the office, I'm at 115 Ivinson Avenue, and you can use my computer or my smartphone. I'm happy to lend that out.
Okay.
And the public library is also a really awesome option. The staff there is so helpful.
Yeah, I will throw out the rec center too, because there's a couple of computers right there at the rec center in the main area as well. And so I will throw out there. So there are a couple avenues just in case you don't have a computer or a smartphone, because I get those calls every once in a while from folks. So you mentioned the calendar of events throughout the year. What do we got coming up here that folks need to be aware of with Laramie Main Street here in the next little bit as we get into this new year?
Yeah, so a lot of what we do in the first quarter is is about strategies and it's about reflective. And so our upcoming meetings are more to get feedback from the businesses on, we tried extended hours and to touch base and see how that went for folks.
Okay.
To create a schedule where businesses are open early or late depending on the football games or the basketball games. And so we're going to analyze how that's working. So not so much events for the public in the first quarter, but opportunities for businesses to learn and grow and provide us feedback.
By the way, for you folks in the business community, I did take advantage of a couple of extended hours. Now I'm only one person, but I don't know what I don't know what the total outcome will be, but I did take advantage of it at a couple of local establishments. So I will admit that for folks in the listening audience. But I'm just one. Hopefully there was more than just me who took advantage of some extended hours.
Actually, that's a great point. If you're a member of the community and you took advantage of extended hours and would like to show your thanks, please, give me a call. I'd love to hear your feedback.
Yeah, absolutely. Anything else before I let you go this morning on this strategy survey that's important for the public? Because I know you want to hear back from some folks.
We do. We really do. And again, at the end of the day, we're about grassroots community economic development. And so again, we can't do anything without the input from the public.
All right. With that, I will let you go. Appreciate your time this morning.
Thank you so much.